Hi everyone, it's Tamara here for lalalandcrafts with another card making tutorial. This time I'm using the new release clear stamp set Cowbells ring and also the Christmas stocking die and winter song paper pack. I'll be doing some Copic colouring of the images and then a card making tutorial making this shaker card. So let's get started with some colouring. We're just finishing colouring up the final part of the Christmas tree, and then I'll run that through my Brother Scan and Cut to cut out. So now we'll start with the actual card making tutorial. I've grabbed this pattern paper from the Winter Song paper pack, and with the stocking die I'm actually going to use the largest die, not worry about the smallest die, and just a couple of the other elements to make up the stocking. I just want to trim the pattern paper down to 6 inches by 5 inches. So to make it even, I'm just going to trim off a 1/2 inch on the right side, flip it around and cut the other 1/2 inch off so that we have our 5 by 6 card base. So with our stocking, that's going to fit perfectly in the middle of that pattern paper. I've grabbed out my low tack tape, and I'm just going to tape our stocking in place to cut out our opening for our shaker portion of this card. So I'm going to just stick that on the inside of that die and then run this through my die cutting machine. Now I have the stocking piece cut out. I was going to use the actual stocking piece as the backing for my shaker, which you can do, but I was a little bit worried that maybe some of the shaker pieces, because they are on the smaller side, may get stuck into that once it's stuck on the back of that white panel. So instead I decided to use worn lipstick and spun sugar to do a little bit of ink blending for my background panel. So I'm just using my sponge dome applicators, and I've just put a little bit of worn lipstick down the bottom for my darker color, and then I'm just going to blend this spun sugar up so that it blends out to a nice white, so very light finish up into the white cardstock. So we'll just build that color up, making sure that we've got a nice blend, and we'll set that panel aside to dry. While that's drying, I wanted to get my front panel ready for the shaker portion of the card. So I'm putting some double-sided tape around the edges of our opening with our stocking so that we can get our piece of plastic acetate stuck down to hold our shaker pieces in. So I'm just using a bone folder just to make sure they're nicely adhered, and it does make it a lot easier to pull off the release tape when you've got that actually burnished down. So I've got all the release tape pulled off now. I've grabbed my piece of acetate that I've cut to size and attached that to our card front. Now we want to pop our foam tape in place to hold up our front panel so the shaker pieces move around freely. So I'm just pulling that out and going around the edges of our card so that they all fit tightly in together, so that none of our shaker pieces can slip out or get caught in those openings. So we'll do our final panel and making sure that's butted up nicely. And then off screen I'll do a second layer, because the second layer will make it a lot easier for our shaker pieces to move about. I'll be cutting out my sentiment with the Scallop Sentiments Labels die, and also out of this gold glitter cardstock to match in with the gold elements on our pattern paper. I'm just going to create the die cuts with the boot end and also that little top portion of our stocking. So now I've got those cut to size. Because it's going onto acetate, I didn't want to use any liquid adhesive. So again, I've grabbed my double-sided tape, burnished that down after I popped it on, and we'll get that attached to the top of our stocking, and do the same with our little piece on the edge of the boot. And then I'll grab out my sentiment, and I'm going to just stick that along that top portion of the stocking. Before I put my shaker pieces in and attach this to the front, I thought we'll get our gorgeous little cow also attached. So again, I'm using my double-sided tape to get him attached. I always prefer to put my shaker pieces on the actual background panel, and that way when you're actually putting the foam tape front panel on, you're not going to drop out any of those pieces if you pop it in there, and it makes sure that you line that back piece up really well. I've used my anti-static powder tool just to make sure that there's no adhesive that's going to stick to those shaker pieces, and just line that up now once I've taken the release paper off onto that background panel, and just test out that those shaker pieces move nicely. I've cut and scored a green card base, and I will have all the measurements in the description box below. I've popped double-sided adhesive on the back of that panel, and we'll get this attached to the front of our card base, making sure to line it up for even on all four sides. And this is the finished card for this tutorial. I thought this stocking worked really good as a shaker, but you can also use that other piece that I cut out from the actual background panel for another card as well. I hope you've enjoyed this card making tutorial. If you have, make sure you hit the like button, and if you'd like to see any future videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.